What is effortless stoicism?
Well, that was...
Because you write about that.
Yeah,
too.
that was something I initially wrote it for
Stoicism.
Twitter. I mean, Stoicism, and that not to be confused with the school of philosophy, because I'm not a Stoic that follows the school. I'm talking about the quality of emotional, maturity, essentially, where the things that happen don't affect you, don't elicit emotional reactions. And the truth about becoming Stoic is that it happens effortlessly. It happens naturally. It doesn't happen because you're trying to become Stoic. It happens because you reach certain understandings that then take all the power out of the events, and those events no longer trigger emotional reactions.
So what is Stoic?
Well, I mean, Stoic, essentially, it's peaceful, right? It means that things don't disturb you.
And so Stoicism is what? Schism is what?
Stoicism is the quality of being Stoic.
So you said there are two types of Stoicism. The quality and the philosophy, right?
Yeah, there's an ancient school of philosophy called Stoicism with a capital S, and then there's the quality of emotional being called Stoicism with a lowercase s.
Oh.
And that's not some deep philosophical point, that's just linguistic.
And how did this get started, this idea?
Of Stoicism?
Yeah.
I don't know how it got started.
How old is it, the idea?
Oh, a couple thousand years old.
And so are you for that or are you against that? You don't agree with that?
I don't think it even makes sense to look at it as for and against. It's all about what appeals to a person, right? Being Stoic appeals to me.
Are you Stoic?
Sure.
You would consider yourself a Stoic?
Yeah, I think on a fundamental level it's synonymous with being a peaceful person. A peaceful person is going to naturally be Stoic.
So Stoic sound dead.
What?
Stoic sound like a person that's dead.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's actually not true. People tend to have this idea that if events lose their power over you, you're going to become unfeeling, and that just isn't the case.
So you just mean you don't overreact to anything?
Yeah, I have the power to react when I want to react and not react when I don't want to react.
Are you an emotional person?
No.
Have you ever been?
Yeah.
And what caused you to become emotional?
It was always some idea that I had, some expectations, some hope, some desire. It's always internal.
I read that and I believe you wrote about a very popular Stoic philosophy, right? What is that? Because a lot of young people seem to be getting into that.
Yeah, that's the Stoicism with a capital S that I mentioned.
So there's a capital S Stoicism and a lowercase.
Yeah, so the Stoicism, the philosophy, was the one that like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus talked about. And those were like ancient Roman philosophers.
Did you get that from them?
No, I haven't read all of their work even. The stuff I wrote about Stoicism was just based on my own experience.
And so why is it becoming so popular now? Especially with young people.
Well, I know Ryan Holiday wrote some books about Stoicism. I think he probably deserves some of the credit for the popularity. But it's appealing because when you become Stoic, you naturally become more effective.
So that's why a lot of young people have started to grab hold of this?
I mean, I can't speak to individual's motives, but I know it's popular among like business people or athletes, and they're trying to improve their performance. If you become a Stoic person, you naturally become a better performer.
Is it something that you make yourself become, or does it happen to you naturally?
Just speaking from my own experience, it happened to me very naturally. I mean, I can look back and I can see the causality that made it happen, but it wasn't like I molded myself in some image. It was just a process of discovering, the truth about the reactions that I have and then seeing through those.
So, to understand this better, you don't overreact to anything.
I'm wary of saying that because then, something's going to come up and I'm going to have some big reaction. But it's been so long since I've had an emotional reaction that I can't even imagine having one.
Oh, okay. So why are you into the philosophy of it?
I'm just not a fan of following things. I want to figure out the truth, and the truth can come from anyone, but the moment that you organize it into a school, you're essentially saying, believe this, and I'm not interested in believing.
Do you have a leader?
Did I follow? No.
You know, you follow no man. And what's that like for you?
Means I'm I'm doing what I want, discovering what I want to discover.
So I may have already asked you this. What is the first step into becoming a Stoic?
Yeah, the first step is honestly asking yourself why you want it. Because I think a lot of people look at Stoicism and they think, wow, that would be so great. I would feel so good if I was Stoic. And that motivation is going to sabotage your effort from the very beginning. Because a lot of the reason you have the reactions that you have is because you have some hope, some expectation, some desire. If you look under that desire, the reason you have that desire is because you want to feel good. So if your motivation for pursuing Stoicism is to feel good, you're sabotaging yourself.
Is it real or is it made up?
It's
Some
what real?
people can people pretend that they're a Stoic, but it's really not. Their nature is not real.
Yeah, you can pretend on the outside, right? But the inside, you can't fool yourself. You're going to have that torrent of thoughts running in your head.
Because some people really want to be that way. They want to stop overreaction to life,
Yeah.
the issues of life. So they hear you talk about being a Stoic, and but you don't tell them how to do it, right?
Well, because there is no how.
There's no
It's
how.
like if I ask you, how did you get angry at that after you have some, incident where you're angry? You didn't have a how that you followed to get angry, right? Just like I'm sitting here, I'm a relatively peaceful person. There's no method that I'm using as I'm sitting here to be peaceful. I'm just peaceful.
Are human beings naturally Stoic, born that way?
That's a fair question. I don't really know. I think as they develop, they are conditioned in various ways. It'd be interesting to see a person that wasn't conditioned. I don't know what that would look like, but what I find is that as you decondition yourself, as you learn the false premises in your thinking, you naturally become more Stoic.
I noticed that little children, before they're traumatized, they don't overreact to things in life. They hold no grudges and they accept what is. Is that Stoicism?
Yeah, that's the mirror-like mind that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, okay. Oh, amazing. Should people put effort into life? Any effort at all?
I think effort is really another form of self-conflict. Because effort, if you look at it, is a product of essentially thinking, I should do this, but I don't really want to, so I'm going to apply effort to it. When a person genuinely wants to do something, it's effortless. So I think it's much more effective for someone to pursue something that is effortless for them than it is to live a life of effort.
What's your talent?
My talent? Finding the truth, because that's what interests me.